Hello, everybody, and welcome to our mid-session show, Tavern Talks. I am Brent Andrewskavich. I play Zavi Advani, and, well, actually, I forget what I have him called now, but he's under an assumed name. Don't worry, he's in witness protection. I'm here with everybody else joining me from our session. I will start with Abby.
Hey, I'm Abby Malarkey. I'm playing Kaya Visbagen, or as she's going currently, Gwenna.
Blake, our new player.
Hello, I am Blake Bartlett. I am currently playing it. His full name is Toa Zora, but mostly goes by the name Toa.
And our wonderful game master, Chris.
I stated I'm Chris Boston Malarkey, and I am your GM Game Master.
Ooh, eerie.
It's such a astute sounding name. Game Master, Master of Games. It's more of a referee, technically.
You're directing the circus.
It's more of a, I guess the word I could use is more of like a referee plus a stage director for not the actors.
Yeah.
Where everything's just going on, you just
Sometimes better to use that than Dungeon Master, because sometimes you can go very different directions with what that means.
Interestingly, with that, this is all about different tabletop games. Don't get mad at us for going on topic. I know we're going to talk about Pathfinder eventually, but this is still in topic with tabletop games. If you go on certain online groups, if you use the term Dungeon Master, they don't like that if you're not talking about D&D specifically. It's, no, Dungeon Master GM is D&D specifically. If you're talking about any other game, you use their version, or you use the standard GM. Like I went on a Call of Cthulhu board on Reddit once, and their version of
That's
GM,
your mistake. You went to Reddit.
I love Reddit. It's my favorite place. But
So do I,
on Call of
but-
Cthulhu, they call their GM the Keeper. It's the Keeper of Arcane Lore, or Keeper for short. And if you don't use Keeper or GM, people are like, what are you talking about? Why are you posting this in our sub? This is for D&D. You're talking about D&D. Not everyone. I know not all of you do that. Just some. But yeah.
They're the ones that stand out. I'm kidding. For the wrong reasons.
But, getting into Pathfinder, in our most recent session, actually, I'll address the elephant that isn't in the room. I called him an elephant. That's mean. Jay is unfortunately not with us. He is on vacation this week, and so, as we stated at one point on our Tavern Talks, it's up in the air about who shows up and who doesn't. It's not guaranteed to always be all of us. But he's on vacation, so wish him well. But
In the defense of the elephant comment, I will say, you will know if he's in the room, and he is noticeable in a room. So it kind of works out.
Jay is our most, what's the word, extroverted, most charismatic person in this group, and so it's just easy to pick him out. But going off of our last session, I know that we didn't do a whole lot. It was more about just kind of some setup. You guys are starting a brand new arc. You're starting in a whole different side of the map. You're on a different side of this republic. So this session was more of like a setup. Plus, you have a new friend, and you have some new NPCs to interact with. And one really big thing that happened at the end of the session, we'll get there in a minute, but I think we understand where the three are coming from, Zavi, Orion, and Kaya. It's you guys are coming off of what you'd found out in Siona, and Zavi is coming off whatever he dealt with on the ship, that mass betrayal. But
I was outfoxed.
outfoxed. But I think, you guys haven't had a full conversation about it. Oh wait, you did actually. No, I'm talking about you guys did have a conversation. So now knowing what he dealt with, I mean, obviously, Kaya, you were there when the ship nonsense happened. Now that you have the context, what's kind of going through your mind? I know Kaya's kind of carefree, so I'm curious what this means.
I wouldn't say carefree. I would say she is open to anything. I think she's really intrigued. First, because I think it's a mystery. Did Sven purposely do that because he knew we were going to be there? Was that an intentional run-in? Was that an intentional plan of that person on our boat?
That's a good question.
If so, then this person knows way more about us than we had thought. We thought it was in passing, like the ringleader was setting us up, and it might be way more than that. And now we're going to a place where we know he has ties to smuggling magical artifacts. So I think she's very excited and intrigued because it's a mystery, and mysteries are exciting.
Brent, is Zavi kind of feeling any bit of catharsis having finally divulged what happened?
Not so much. The biggest thing that he regrets is mentioning his family. Because he is with everybody here. He can work on protecting them. He does not know what's going on back in Tree Shade. So, mentioning his family could be worrisome for him. He doesn't know if there's going to be anything that's going to take advantage of that, even though it's probably known that he's from Tree Shade. From his time in the circus, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I think you mentioned it before, that it would just make sense that Natasha at least would know some stuff.
Yeah. And then the biggest thing is he's worried about being seen as a liability now. Because he's been fooled this way, he's been knocked unconscious at one point. He's been charmed. So
yeah, you've got the short end of the stick quite a lot. And it's unintentional. I'm not picking on you. Most things are just, that's the law, that's just how it works out. With the Dyad, we're just closest. You're the first person to interact. With the orc fight, you were a closer target, and your big beefy guy wasn't there at the time. And then with
the dice did what the dice did.
Yeah. With this one, I did a D3 check to see which of you was going to get the conversational piece. So it just happened to land on you.
At least your luck should go up from now, because now it's gone from a third to a quarter, so...
There you go. There you go.
Just a slight bump and boost.
So obviously your biggest goal is going to be, avenge or revenge, like getting like vengeance on the trail, trying to figure out what exactly happened. And then, Kai, I think you mentioned it. You guys are going to be. You were told that this city that you're now in is a hotbed for magic item stuff. And, like, pretend you don't know all this stuff. When it comes to game time.
Oh, I have no idea what's going on. That's fine.
So, how are you guys now feeling with having someone? You've met someone who you think you can tag along with. Zavi, are you having a hard time trusting it? And altogether, are you guys trusting having a person be in on your secret of what's actually going on? So I don't think for your guys' conversation, now obviously you're in line with that, but you're there for this. I don't know if you guys talked about what happened in Alden Air. I don't remember.
Mm-mm.
It's in my notes.
No, not really.
So,
I was gonna say, Zavi, when he saw Toa go running towards the explosion, Zavi didn't hesitate either. He ran as well. Now, they were running for different causes, but they were both going for a similar goal. So, there's nothing that's been done for Zavi to not trust Toa. But there has been a sign there of someone who is willing to run in and help others. Like a good restaurant, making sure the owner doesn't lose his business.
true.
But yeah,
Yeah, despite seeming somewhat selfish-ish on the outside, that's kind of altruistic looking into that business. So,
Because
nice.
I want nothing but the best.
So, this is a question for Toa.
Yeah.
What's first impression of this group of misfits? You know, obviously, I think you made a comment. You're like, "Oh, I didn't know the circus was in town,"
Yeah.
which was
this is
funny
a-
because they are circus folks, but you don't know that yet.
Yeah, it's definitely a eclectic group, especially from where Toa reigns, where he grew up. A bit more of a different environment, I should say. Obviously, I don't want to let out too much too quickly of the life of Toa. But anyone who feeds my lizard Moko is alright in my book. And anyone who is willing to put up the risk of being bitten by Moko as they're feeding them, props on them.
That was your immediate action, right? I think that's the very first thing you did.
Yes.
Yeah, Toa's practically the side character to Moko. Moko is obviously a true player in this story.
I can see that. So you said that you don't want to divulge too much of like Toa. I found that funny because the very first thing that happened was Kaya and Orion both jumped in with 21 questions.
Oh yeah, it was quite fun of. Let's test his knowledge straight off the bat. He hasn't been sitting around for a little while. Let's just have him go full send and just see what he can reveal about himself.
Yeah, that was funny. I wasn't expecting it. Actually, you know what? I was kind of expecting it out of Kaya.
I was
Ryan.
expecting a few questions, and then I got hit with the, "Where did you go to school?" I was like, what a way to start a conversation.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, as Toa, like, the way Toa grew up, like, he grew up, you'll learn with him the way his family is he has no reason not to divulge things. He has people in his life that always were, in a sort, introducing him to other people. So, you know how you get when your like family introduces you to their work friends, and you have to have this small little spiel about yourself every time you do it, and it's usually the same kind of thing. That's kind of how Toa is naturally, of just like, I have no reason to hide these things. It's just like, people ask about me, I'm gladly going to tell you, because that's what I was instilled into my head.
So for Zavi and Kaya, your guys' first interaction with him is you actually met him the night before you saw him. When I described when you guys first came in around dinner time, I noted a few people that were around the tavern area, and I did mention a larger set as Archetty. Obviously, that was Toa. And then obviously you guys met the next morning. So your first interaction was seeing you thrown out of the kitchen. Told you're getting too comfortable here. So I'm curious of first impression and then later impressions of Toa. How are you guys feeling as a group or as individuals?
First, with him being thrown out of the kitchen, of course, Zavi's reaction would have been, "Oh God, do we have to help these people now? Get rid of whoever's causing an issue here?" And then it turned into more of a, okay, maybe he's got more pull here than we think. People just don't like it. And then it got to be, oh, he's just been here.
Yeah, he's been there for a while.
You know, one of the things that I, as a GM, try really hard to do is to fully understand each of the PCs, each of the player characters. I want to know how you'd react to certain situations or certain stimuli. And it's just something I always like doing, because when I plan events, when I go through and put sessions together, I try to imagine how would so and so handle this, how would so and so handle this, how would they react here. I try not to dictate my choices with that knowledge. I think it's just a fun exercise to try to think of it. I feel like I've got a good shot of you two, Brent and Jay or Brent and Abby for Kaya and Sabi. Thought I had Orion until the end of the session. This giant explosion, and I'm gonna pick on you, Jay, because you're not here to defend yourself. You guys walk out, see this explosion in the distance, and his first thought is, "Oh, so you want to go to the library?"
Oh, it's already happening. Might as well just write it out.
I talked to him about it a few days ago, and I was like, "Jay, priorities."
His priority was obviously set on me showing him to the library.
Like, obviously,
Walk outside, start to run into the docks. I'm going that way, and Orion goes, "Wait, but what about the library?"
Yeah.
To be fair, if I didn't feel like one of my favorite restaurants was going to go down in a blaze, I might have thought about it a little bit more about entertaining that idea. But
Yeah. I'm sure your guys' in the characters' heads, it's like, oh, there are there's people in town. There's emergency workers and stuff who like city guards who should attend to this. But it's great that you guys actually did utilize your sense of self to say we should go check it out too. We should see if there's people that need help. And I don't know what your guys' plan of action is going to be when we get to our next session, because you're going to start off immediately in the throes of a fire, and still some explosions going off. It's going to be a mess. It's going to be chaos. But I'm curious to see how that tracks.
so are we. Because I'm sure none of us have an idea. I said, so are we, because obviously we have no idea what we're going to do either.
Yeah, I have no idea. I couldn't even. Like I said earlier, I tried thinking like, oh, how are they gonna react to this? Nah, just let it go. I just want to watch what happens.
I mean, one other thing that is going through Zavi's mind. Hey, cat. Is the fact that there were other people on that boat with us. That boat was stationed at the dock. And what time was it that the explosion happened?
About 9 a.m.
So yeah, there's a good chance that there could have been some people on the ship.
Yeah, they could have done early boarding. It is a passenger ship.
So, is this something going after... Could it have been something that was going after us? Because we were noticed going into this... Going towards Hookhandle. Or... The people... Or also, are any of the people that we met injured? The navigator that I was talking to.
Yeah, I think
The
you're
actual navigator.
right. The real one, the non screw with you guy. I think when I was narrating to you guys, let me pull my notes again. That ship, you guys did obviously see it sinking, and you saw it like snap in half, basically. You did not see any people. No possible remains around the area, so it wouldn't be easy to see. You'd have to maybe get into it, see if any part is stable enough to jump onto and not burning to check. But as far as you can tell, you know they could perform. But you're only seeing the top 2 levels of it. There's some areas underneath that you don't see. So I guess it's a good question to see if there's any people. As always, I know the answer. I'm gonna tell you.
I may have to do some things, but I hate the smell of wet fur.
Don't worry, I can take care of that for you.
Yeah, you got some pretty good skills with water.
Can dry you off in an instant. Who needs a hair dryer?
So, I think going back to that explosion, I feel like I don't know what you guys were expecting when you got to town, you two specifically, and then obviously I'm sure that Toe was just expecting any other normal day. He's been there for a while.
Yep. You guys just had to come and ruin it.
Good point. You're the only thing that's changed in town so far, so... but, coming into... You guys landed in Scioto. There's problems there. You've landed in Hookhandle. There's now problems here. What's that kind of feel like?
Hi, it's me. I'm the problem. It's me.
Yeah,
No.
I was about to say, oh wow, you guys really are the problem.
This republic is going to shit. It's problems everywhere.
I'd say probably coming into town, I was hoping for no issue. Get over here, figure out a plan of attack. There's some connection to the silver hair guy. There's a tail. So we got to figure out what the connection is and if there's a way to bring him down. Well, now there's an explosion. It was similar to an explosion that we heard about. I don't believe we saw it, but we heard about it.
No, you didn't
So
see it.
So now we need to figure out what happened here, if it was again something of their doing, and is this happening in any other town? Hi there. For anybody wondering, this is my cat Juju. My other cat Poe is sleeping over there.
I had a cat in here with me, and I had to gently coax her out because I was afraid that she'd eventually get up and be like, oh, I need to eat, I need to go to the bathroom, and I'd have to get up and open the door. But don't want to. I want to just stay seated and doing this. So, I feel bad though.
He is
Booting cats
incessant.
is a travesty. It's a crime, I feel like.
He will not let me be if I close the door on him.
I feel internally grateful that my cats are ignoring me right now.
So let's see. So you two that came to town, you guys are seeing these explosions, and it's kind of related to something you've got going on. And I think, Toa, you did tell them about what you were researching.
Yeah, I give them a brief rundown of my crazy theories.
So now you guys actually have some sort of small link. I guess it's not small, it's big. It's a big explosion. Lots of people died.
Big explosion.
A lot hurt. So I think the big question is, how much are you guys going to divulge to Toa?
I mean, they haven't even told me their names yet, really, so...
Exactly. You don't even know their real names.
The closest one is Zavi. Zavi was going by Xavier, so kinda told him his real name.
Wait, what did I choose? I chose Calvin Xavier or something like that.
Yeah. So partially, you're right.
I should have went with Charles Xavier
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
or Michael Klein. Calvin Course.
Calvin Course. So yeah, obviously you guys don't need to answer it now, but I think that's a question that you guys should all think about. What all are you going to truly tell Toa? Especially if you guys are... It seems like you guys have in mind you kind of want to stick together for a little bit. At least while you're in town. It seems like they would like you to show them around town. So you have a little bit of a team up, obviously, for a little bit. So I'm curious how that's going to play out.
In the words of Prince Aladdin, I can show you the world.
Sorry, the world ends at the edge of town.
Yep.
Hasn't loaded the rest of the way.
It's buffering.
It's buffering.
It's paid DLC over there.
Damn, the infamous paywall.
We got a paywall. Alright, with all that, I said at the beginning of this that not a lot happened, and I actually, the more I think about it, the more I'm coming to the realization that's actually not true. You guys had a lot to think about, and this has opened a lot of doors and also brought up a lot of, it's answered a few questions, but also made new questions that need answers. And I'm curious to see how this all plays out for you guys. Next session, I think, is going to be longer as we start in the throes of a disaster. And, at least you don't have to worry about getting damaged just going outside once the fire is taken care of. Like, just existing outside of the city, won't be a problem here as it was in the desert. Because for those of you that don't know, environments actually have a lot of rules in this game, which is great. I love that. And part of the rules deals with temperature, climate temperature. If it's too hot, you actually take damage every little bit that you're outside. And it can kill you. Partially. Luckily, you guys didn't get faced with that. You only got faced with just enough heat that you could only travel for 4 hours instead of 8. So it took you longer to get to places. Otherwise, you get fatigued. that's not a problem now. It's generally okay. You do have to deal with straight up fire though. There's heat here, but it's actual visible fire that you can see. So that's
I forgot my marshmallows.
No. Be a great time to be a marshmallow salesman.
You just see a marshmallow salesman push on a cart running because they're all on fire.
Be like the My Cabbages guy.
Or a bucket salesman. Imagine how much money you could be as a bucket salesman right now.
It's true. Get some water. That'd be interesting.
Buckets.
Man, now I've got new
Buckets. I got
NPCs
your
added.
buckets. Buckets here. Get your buckets. It's a hot
Right.
sale.
It's a hot sale. Fire sale. Quite literally, fire
These deals
sale.
are explosive.
Literally, my stall is on fire. Please buy these buckets.
I don't want to lose out on my inventory. My wife is taking everything.
My inventory might go up in smoke if you do not buy it now.
These
we
deals
know
are
it.
on fire, just like my inventory.
Well, now we know what we're going to make YouTube shorts out of. Alright, so I think we've got a lot of interest coming up with this next session. I can't wait to see how this goes, and we'll have a fancy new intro that will have Blake and his character included.
Woo.
And we'll have a fancy new scroll that'll be down here, this box right below here. The scroll informational thing that has all your guys' information. Toa, you're now included. And I added new backgrounds to them. Now all the characters' little background image is the region where their character is from. So it's personalized. I thought that was cool.
Nice.
And it worked out we're all from different areas.
Right. And a very other interesting thing coming soon is we will have new artwork to use for our characters coming soon. We have a wonderful artist who is working on that for us, and so once that's ready, we'll make a special announcement showcasing it, and I will have their information in our videos, so that if you want artwork of your own, you can contact them for a commission, because they do commissions. They're doing ours. Beyond our channel news, one last thing I can mention for channel news, but actually I'll do it in the next session. I'll mention that next session. But in TTRPG news, Paizo now has, as of this video, as of this record date for this video, the War of Immortals book has come out. War of Immortals adds a lot of new things to the game. First and foremost, it adds 2 new classes. It adds the Exemplar, which is a martial-based class that uses a divine spark to fuel mythic abilities. And then it has the Animist, which utilizes spirits of nature, kind of like some sort of shaman or witch doctor. I think you mentioned the word witch doctor earlier, Blake, which is where I'm getting this from. To fuel its magic. And it's a caster. So those 2 classes are part of that, and they'll be usable by. You can totally use them if you guys end up having a character who wants to retire, or God forbid one of them dies, or we go into other campaigns. Whatever. These are classes you guys can totally use. They fit more. But the biggest thing that's going to be different, and I have to check to see for you guys how this is going to work out, is the mythic rules. And I need to do some more research into it. I need to get my hands in the book so I can read through it. But as far as from what I can tell the Mythic Rules does, it adds a new layer to the game to make you a bit more powerful, to make you mythical. It gives you mythic points to use, kind of like how they have hero points now. They'll have mythic points potentially if we decide to utilize these rules in our game that can fuel your mythic abilities. There are specific feats and archetypes that can be chosen to make these choices. to give you these abilities. But it's ways to temporarily give yourself like status. So I'm curious to see exactly how that's going to build in with our rules. Once I get my hands on the book, obviously, I will just go through it. And I hope any one of you guys do too. It's not just my job to read stuff. You guys
All I
just
know
lazy.
is the second I get mythic points, and if I have the ability to, they're just going to go into Milko. I'm just going to make Milko a mythic lizard. The likes none have ever seen.
My mythic points will just be used for nonsense. So that way when I actually need them, I won't have them.
Like breaking down doors.
Or break dancing.
Or break dancing.
Let's see, what else do we have? I know that coming soon, I think January, at some point early January, Paizo will have the Guns and Gears book. It's a remaster of that book specifically come out. That book has two classes in it, the Gunslinger and the Inventor. Gunslinger is exactly what it sounds like. It's a martial class that uses firearms. So I started blasting. That's the point. And the Inventor...
Are we going to give the monkey a gun like another show?
No. There are no firearms in this world.
I get a fancy hat that makes me smarter. I am
the
gun.
other class, the Inventor, is... Again, it's kind of what it sounds like. If you think of the Artificer from D&D, that's close to what this thing does, but it's a bit more tinkery than Artificers are. Both those classes are not going to be available in this game, at least for a while, because they don't quite fit lore, because of an event known as the Stagnation, which I'll go over eventually when I start doing videos for Inglaria lore. I think there's also a new ancestry in that too, if I'm not mistaken. I think the android is in that? Or the automaton. I think automaton ancestry is in that. Yes, that'd be automaton. And then February there is the NPC core, which is like the core books. You know, I have the monster core, the GM core, and the player core by the books. It's a core rulebook that is usable for most GMs that has statistics for NPCs in it. Because the monster core mostly has statistics for like creatures, you know, monsters, animals, things of that sort. But the NPC core will specifically have things dedicated to random NPCs, good aligned, bad aligned, what have you. That's coming February.
You mentioning the Inventor just made me think of now this is a creator that is on TikTok. He has also put out a 5e compatible book for D&D called Arcane Engineering, and it's basically using spells and creating things with like a electrical theory. I think it's how he said it, like electrical
you showed me
engineering.
that was cool.
But
I did like that.
I would like to see, like, if that would be something very interesting to see if we can implement anything like that in other games. I just get an idea when I see an inventor. I'm like, man, I really miss my engineering background, and then I'm too lazy to do the work for it anyway. So, hence why I did not graduate as an engineer.
Let's see, what else?
Most people don't use the degrees that they graduated with, it seems like nowadays.
That's true.
No.
It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Yeah.
There
I
is
sure
one
don't
thing
use
that I
mine.
did. What was that?
I said I sure don't use mine.
Oh, me either. But I got it, like I was told to.
Yep.
Like we were told to, that's the point.
One thing that I did want to bring up is you mentioned January. I thought you were going to say something else. But we we try not to just play Pathfinder and talk about that. We try and go with all TTRPGs. Stay away from D&D because it is very popular, is the most well known, and we want to highlight other things. So, I'm wondering if there's just any ideas that anybody wants to comment and mention, any ideas that they've heard of that sound interesting. We're always looking to look into rules of other games and see, even talk about them and see if they're a possibility to play. We have some ideas in the background, I believe. At least, I think I've talked to Chris about it, and I believe Abby's talked about it as well. Maybe with Blake. And
I've
Jay.
given 2 out of the set amount.
But just like to hear what other people are saying, because we may be not even thinking of a game that is up and coming. So I like to hear what people have to say.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. And we're talking about January of 2025. Looking into potentially something different, but and that's what we're looking potentially to have commenting on something you'd like to see. But if you're watching this video March of 2025, January of 2026, whenever you watch this video, it doesn't matter when, still feel free to comment on any video or even message us through one of our social medias or something and just say, hey, I think it'd be cool if you guys tried this out. Give us an idea of something. Just like you said, it doesn't have to be soon. It could be years from now when you're watching this. Because we'll still be around. We're hoping to be here for a long time.
We'd even love to just discuss the game in general and just see what we think, because eventually, once we start getting more questions, we'd love to just start answering them here instead of us talking about the previous session. That way we can have a little bit of mix. So
Absolutely.
we love engagement.
Absolutely. That's the best. Engagement's awesome. You know what I think I could even do is I'll start doing this from now on. I might even edit our previous videos to have this description. We should just straight up add our email address into our descriptions. If you have a question or concern, you don't want to put it in a comment, email us straight up and try to answer as quick as possible.
Don't be creepy.
Yeah. Because we'll be creepy back. No, you won't. No, you won't.
We created an entire world. Just remember that.
I did. I mean, I had some help with you guys. You guys are part of this. But I think that's all the news that I have to talk about. Anybody else have anything you want to mention?
No?
No.
I know we've got a lot to talk about in the terms of D&D because of their new player's handbook and new DM's guide and monster manual, but I feel like that's specifically going to have to take an entire episode for us to talk about, like a special episode to go over that.
Yeah.
There are some comments that will be made.
Yeah, so maybe we can make that one day. We'll do that as a thing.
Maybe after the DMG comes out.
That's a good one, yeah. I actually might even wait to comment on anything until I get my hands on that new monster manual, because I think that's going to change a lot of things.
My ranger has some questions.
Alright, but if nobody else has anything to mention, I think this is a good point for last call. What do you guys think?
I think I could use one last drink.
I feel the same way.
He's
and I should-
Zavi is still suffering from being trained.
I'm gonna save a special little gift just for myself of you going shit. What does the fox say? The fox says lies. I'm gonna say that at the end. And I definitely feel like it's GIF. This is a hill I will die on. Oh, the creator says
I don't know what you're talking
GIF.
about.
Don't care. The
I don't know what
creator
you're
says
talking about. Jif is always going to be the second best peanut butter.
Second.
Skippy.
The This is the guy who probably likes Hunts over Heinz, huh?
Oh, no. Heinz is far and above the best. Then you go Great Value. I'm kidding.
Alright. But I think we're getting off topic of TTRPGs. So, if we've got nothing else, Brent, go ahead and sign us off for the night.
Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And, Abby, anything about our socials?
All of our socials are linked down in the description. Please make sure you check us out. We'd love to engage with you.
And once again, thank you for joining us. Have a great night.
Alright, guys. Have a good night.
See ya.